Hey everybody, it's Gordon Majak here, back with another episode of Timeless Pop, Rock, and Soul. And today we are going to keep this 70s journey rolling down the tracks here, but we're going to rewind back to 1972. That's where we find 12-year-old Gordy Majak. And this record, this is the album. Our artist of the day is Lobo, and his album Of a Simple Man, and you may know it more to this name. There's Lobo and the big hit I'd Love You to Want Me. Now, my history with Mr. Lobo here, his real name is Roland Kent LaVoie, but Lobo was his stage name. The story for him and for me actually begins just a little over a year prior to this, in the spring of 1971, when little Gordy Majak was 12 years old, not quite 13 yet. And at that point in my life, there in the spring of 1971, my favorite song in the whole wide world was a song by Lobo called Me and You and a Dog Named Boo. Man, I love that song. That song just spoke to my adolescent soul like nothing else in the world. I loved that song to death there for a while in 1971. And I didn't think Mr. Lobo, Mr. Kent LaVoie there, could ever top that song because I love that song. Well, that song was a huge hit for Lobo there in 1971. He took Me and You and a Dog Named Boo all the way up to number 5 on the U.S. pop chart and number 1, the top spot on the adult contemporary chart. Well, barely over a year later, Mr. Lobo released this album, Lobo of a Simple Man, with this big hit, I'd Love You to Want Me. And I have to tell you, even though I thought he couldn't get any better for Lobo after the success of Me and You and a Dog Named Boo, I was wrong. Lobo took this song, I'd Love You to Want Me, all the way up to number 2 on the U.S. pop chart. You'll remember that Me and You and a Dog Named Boo made it to 5. I'd Love You to Want Me got all the way up to number 2 and was blocked from the top spot for 2 weeks by Johnny Nash singing I Can See Clearly Now. So I guess if you're going to get blocked from the top spot on the old Hot 100, it might as well be a song as cool as Johnny Nash, I Can See Clearly Now, because that was just a monster hit back there in 1971. So, or I'm sorry, 1972. So for this song, number 2 on the pop chart there, and again, number 1 on the adult contemporary chart, a huge hit for Lobo, following up the success of Me and You and a Dog Named Boo with an even bigger hit. But even beyond the scope of these two songs, comparing them in terms of popularity or their chart success or anything like that, is just the difference in the growth and the evolution in the artist. Because that first song, just as I said, really spoke to my adolescent soul there at age 12. And just barely a year later, this song that I'm going to play here in a second spoke volumes to my soul, but in such a much different way. And really just remarkable, I think, not only how he was capable of doing a fairly interesting spread of music like that, some fairly diverse music, but just to do it so effectively. And this song was just, this was one that appealed to so many different people across so many different age groups. I think there was something about the romanticism in this song and the way he expressed it in his vocal that there was something just timeless about this song right from the very beginning. From 1972, this is Lobo, a.k.a. Roland Kent LaVoie, and just a beautiful song and a huge hit back then, and man, it still holds up today. I'd Love You to Want Me.
When I saw you standing there, I about fell out my chair. And when you moved your mouth to speak, I felt the blood go to my feet.
Now, I remember it clear as a bell that back there when this song came out in 1972, and this song was what you would call an enduring hit. This song got played on late night radio all over the country for many, many years after it came out back then in 72, because this one was an instant classic and went straight to the oldies stations and the adult contemporary stations, and they basically never stopped playing this song. This song was truly timeless right from the beginning.
You told yourself years ago you'd never let your feelings show. The obligation that you made for the title that they gave. Baby, I'd love you to want me the way that I want you, the way that it should be. What you tried so not to show. There's something in my soul just cried. I see the one in your blue eyes. Baby, I'd love you to want me the way that I want you, the way that it should be. You love me to want you the way that I want to, if you only let it be. Oh baby, I'd love you to want me the way that I want you, the way that it should be. Baby, you love me to want you the way that I want to, if you only let it be.
Unbelievable. I mean, you hear that now, all these years later, and the first thing that came into my mind there about in the middle of the song is I was thinking that you certainly would never hear Lobo's name mixed in with the so-called elite of the early to mid 70s folk singer-songwriter genre. And we all know all the artists that, of course, were associated with that. People like Carly Simon and James Taylor and Gordon Lightfoot and etc. Carole King, Joan Baez, Joni Mitchell. You know, there was that group of, a large group of singer-songwriters. And you certainly would never have heard Lobo's name in conjunction with the best of those artists. And I would submit that now, having heard this song, what is this, 50 freaking years later? Are you kidding me? This is from the fall of 1972. So we're coming up on the 50-year anniversary of this song. And I have to say, boy, he may never get that credit that he deserved for crafting such an incredible pop single back then in 1972. But Lobo crushed this song. And like I said, coming from a huge Lobo fan there at age 12 with Me and You and a Dog Named Boo, which was just such a magical little pop tune, to get to this level with this production and just the way he weaves this, the lyrics of this song, pretty heavyweight performance, if you ask me. got to give Mr. Lobo his due on this one. Just a classic, and a song that, as I said, cut across so many, not only genres and styles of music, but so many demographics and age groups. I mean, this is a song that young people and old people, I think, could really agree was pretty darn well done by Lobo. 1972, I'd Love You to Want Me. God, can I just rewind it and play it again? Let's just listen to this last part of it again. God, this song just does not stop, and I love the way it just surges like that. Just so beautifully done. 50 years, are you kidding? That means me and you and a dog named Boo is 51. Holy cow. Wow, getting old, folks. All right. Coming back with some more groovy, right? The groove never stops. This Lobo tune never stopped, and this next one, here we go again. Be right back. See you soon.